Scola. I love smart lawyers.
Yeah.
That's why Nick and I didn't get along. A thing happened today.
What happened?
That I was a part of.
Yeah.
I mentioned I don't know if you saw it today.
I did not.
Okay, you've been working all day. You haven't seen this. The Judge Stephen Wenzel in Candy, Ojai County, made a ruling on Nick Rekieta's his motion to get a Frank's hearing to see if he can get his warrant thrown out.
Frank the Frowner? What's a Frank's hearing?
Just a Frank's hearing. Just hey, do me a favor.
Okay.
If you don't know, just don't know, because this is going to take a minute to set up.
I don't know Frank's.
If you don't know, just don't know.
All right. Fine. I'll shut the fuck up.
Plus, Nick had this thing where he wanted to. Oh, by the way, Gray Duckling brought it to 185 tonight. Go ahead and knock that out, and then let's just make a ton of money tonight. Because then I have to ask you guys something about this thing I'm bringing up.
No.
So Nick has his big drug arrest, and he's going through that whole process now. And my attitude on the whole thing has very much been there, but for the grace of God, go I.
Mm-hmm.
And now, this case that we're about to talk about has nothing to do with well, I mean, if you're a bit jaded and you're a bit what's the word, skeptical? Not skeptical. You're a bit. There's a word for it. Cynical.
Cynical?
If you're a bit cynical, you would say the two are related to each other in a very big way. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Other people have.
Yeah.
I certainly am not. Nick has his case with second-degree felony drug charge and then a couple of gross misdemeanors tacked on for the child stuff, which I'm surprised. I would like to talk to Sean or somebody about whether or not that kid testing positive for cocaine is ever going to elevate that child endangerment charge or bring with it a new charge, because we haven't gotten anything for that. So that's interesting. I'd like to ask Sean about that, but obviously I'm doing something at the moment. Weird. So Nick has his case, and at his omnibussing, now at my omnibussing, I just said, not guilty. Let's move on to the next phase. I got no search warrants, nothing like that. It's not very complicated.
Yeah.
So Nick has this search warrant where they found drugs and guns, and they tested his kid's hair, and there was cocaine in one of his kid's hair, and there's ketamine and unknown brown substance and just all kinds of shit that you don't want found in your house by police.
Yeah.
So if he can get this warrant thrown out, the whole thing goes away.
Right.
Poof, it's gone. So in being fair, you would say, why not give it a shot to get rid of that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem.
Okay.
The warrant, and I'm going to steal this from Kurt from Uncivil Law, the warrant is unattackable.
Oh.
The warrant has about 4 or 5 sources that each one on their own could give them a search warrant to the house.
Okay.
And you take away 1 or 2, you still got the other 2. You take away 3, you still got the other one. But, hey, throw up a Hail Mary pass. Sometimes Drew Pearson pushes down the Vikings corner, catches it, and the Cowboys win.
Yeah.
So he goes and he tries to get what's called a Frank's hearing. That is where you can challenge. You can basically, you have to find that one of the people in the warrant lied to get the warrant in a way that was material to the case and material to the warrant.
Okay.
And then you get a hearing to find out if that's the case, and then you can get the warrant thrown out. So there's 2 steps to this.
Okay.
There's 2 steps to the Frank's hearing.
Yes.
One is filing a motion showing that you believe there is reason to believe that there were lies that helped this search warrant happen. That without those lies, the search warrant doesn't happen. Okay? Then you get a hearing. Nick was on step 1. Step 1 is the motion. Step 2 is the hearing.
Yes.
On step 1, the state comes in and responds to him and says, this guy's full of shit. Again, if you want to hear the legalese breakdown of this, potentially criminal with Sean starts in 5 minutes.
But you're the regular guy breakdown.
I'm going to layman the shit out of this thing. So the state comes in and goes, this guy's fucking off his rocker. He's full of shit. Our warrant's fine.
Yeah.
The judge ruled today.
Yeah.
And he did not rule in Nick's favor.
Weird.
Yes.
Really fucking weird.
Not only that, This judge apparently had to go back. The way it sounds in his decision.
Yeah.
The judge had to go back and watch all 4 hours of Nick's, what they call the Coke stream, where he had the nose and the whole thing. Which might be embarrassing enough. But a couple days ago, we found out that the judge in Nick's defamation lawsuit in Candy, Ohio County recused herself.
Okay.
And she's the same judge in April's criminal case. And she recused herself from April's case.
Oh.
The word on the street, and this is pure internet conjecture, but it makes sense, is that because this judge had to go and watch that 4-hour stream, he saw where Nick was like fucking tits up and trashing the shit out of that female judge because you'll remember Nick got handed an L in his defamation case that night and he drank and did coke. And he just went off the fucking reservation. That was the stream. That judge has now recused herself in 2 cases connected to this one.
Oh.
Word on the street is Judge Wenzel had to watch the stream, and then he's obligated to tell that judge, yeah, this guy got fucked up and said that you're a bitch and you've got liquor coming out of your pussy and all this other fucked up shit that Nick said about this judge. And it makes, like, the timeline makes sense that he had to tell this judge about this, and now a couple days ago, this judge recuses herself, like washes her hands of everything Nick Rekieta.
Oh.
And Nick Rekieta adjacent. So that is a very interesting.
So it gets appointed to another judge then?
It'll probably go to this
one.
Wenzel guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So now
it doesn't go away at all.
So now poor Wenzel has to handle all of this shit. Because I don't know how, there can't be that many judges in Candy, Ohio County.
No.
So you're gonna this Wenzel he's probably watching that stream and he goes, fuck, I just inherited all of this shit now. Because she probably shouldn't hear their cases because then they could try to claim later that, oh, she's biased because we called her pussy liquor pussy, whatever. You know.
Or maybe don't run your fucking mouth and piss off your judge and it's on you.
Maybe, but then again, if the judges all have to leave, if you say dumb shit about them, just go off saying dumb shit about every judge.
Well,
they all have to recuse themselves.
Well, eventually you're going to get to a judge that's just going to be, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
I'll hear the case.
Maybe it's a Wenzel.
Eventually you're just going to have to go to Judge Judy. That's just going to be the way.
She ain't having any of this bullshit. She wouldn't be
Judge Judy? Oh, she'd love this case. She'd love it.
She'd love it, but she'd be a cunt to him.
The state of Minnesota versus Nicholas Robert Rekieta. Blah, 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 child endangerment. Like you said, you're going to get the, what do you call it? The layman's. Like, we're going to do a lot of blah, 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 and just kind of skimming through. So here's the warrant challenges. Defendant argues Deputy Pomplin made false statements or recklessly disregarded the truth in the search warrant affidavit. Defendant points to the following in support of this contention. Candy, Ohio County Health and Human Services determined a report of possible child abuse did not fit the definition of child abuse or neglect. Imholte and defendant no longer had an amicable relationship, and defendant alleges Deputy Pomplin watched defendant's YouTube video on a third party's YouTube channel. So those are the 3 sticking points that are going to save his ass and get him out of trouble. The United States, and now we get to the Constitution, reckless misinterpretation, so on and so forth. No longer establishes probable cause to the search to warrant an evidentiary hearing, the validity of the claims. All right, now we can get to the actual meat and potato of this. The stuff that we just skipped over is stuff that Sean might go over. It's just the case law and the different precedents of why they get to do this.
Yep.
Defendant first contends Deputy Pomplin did not state in the search warrant affidavit that Candy, Ohio County Health and Human Services determined on May 20th that a report of child maltreatment involving defendant's children was found by Candy, Ohio County Health and Human Services to not meet the definition of child abuse. Now, I'll interrupt. Here's my problem with that.
Okay.
That's not what the search warrant was for.
Right.
Search warrant wasn't for, we think you're beating your kids. Search warrant was for, everybody's talking about this video where you had coke on your nose. You see, you and this April seem strung out as fuck when you're on streams. This Aaron's still fat, so he's probably not, you know. He hasn't lost any weight. He doesn't look like a ghoul like you two. Yeah. So We don't really know. So that the child abuse thing, that doesn't make any sense because it's like, okay, great.
Well, wasn't there part of it in there where the pastor like reported the kids coming
right
and stinking? And
they did report that, but that was just one part of everything.
It was part of it, yeah.
The information provided in the search warrant case background indicates Sergeant Dave Nestor received a report regarding possible child neglect and controlled substance use. That's the kicker, the controlled substance use. This statement was used to provide background information to explain the origin of the investigation involving defendant. There is no mention in the affidavit about any investigation by Kandiyohi County Health and Human Services, as they had no determination and investigation is largely separate and held to a different legal standard than that of law enforcement.
Yeah.
So the child protection shit is different than the search warrant shit.
So this literally sparked 2 different investigations, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The crux of the warrant was not the allegation of child maltreatment. It simply provided context for law enforcement to begin their investigation. So then fuckface goes on stream with coke on his nose and just fucks himself right in the ass.
Yeah.
So you can sit on Twitter and you can sit on YouTube and you can sit on your locals all day. You can blame everybody else for this. But if you hadn't shown up with booger sugar all over that giant fucking hook schnoz of yours, none of this happens. Well, still might. The statements or lack thereof regarding Kandiyohi County Health and Human Services investigation is immaterial, the judge says, to the search warrant and therefore does not amount to deliberate falsehood, nor was it made with reckless disregard for the truth. So the judge says the whole thing with Health and Human Services doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
Nobody lied. This is fine. Defendant next argues that Deputy Pomplin misrepresented. I listened to Andrew of Legal Mindset talk about this.
Okay.
On my way up here. I went for my supervised visitation with my children.
Yeah.
Picked my kids up from school today. And then on my way back, I'm listening to Andrew's coverage of this, and he thought this part was fucking hilarious. Nice. That Nick seething about his boyfriend breaking up with him is like, it's part of the fucking legal text of this case. Part of him getting the warrant thrown out is, it wasn't just a falling out. He broke my heart. So, and in no way would this cause anyone, shut up, Aaron. Just shut up. So defendant next argues that Deputy Pomplin misrepresented the relationship between defendant and Aaron Imholte. The affidavit states, quote, throughout Imholte's video blogs, it is apparent that they and the Rekietas were friends and may have had a recent falling out. Defendant asserts that Imholte and Nick's relationship has deteriorated beyond a mere falling out. So Nick and his lawyer are trying to make an argument in court to a judge that, Judge, falling out doesn't even begin to say it. He is so mean. You don't even know what he is. He's a bad, bad man. And I hate him. And I hate him forever. Fuckhead, that's called a falling out. If somebody has a falling out with someone else, they go, I fucking hate that guy. The other guy goes, I fucking hate him too.
That's an adorable gay breakup.
That's a falling out. There's more than that, Your Honor. He's a madman. And that by failing to include disparaging statements made by Imholte on his videos about defendant, Deputy Pomplin made a material misrepresentation in the affidavit. Nick, Deputy Pomplin does not need to catalog every time I've insulted you or called you a hook-nosed fuck. It's not necessary. Deputy Pomplin was just taking the things I said that were material to his request for a search warrant. Deputy Pomplin made a material misrepresentation in the affidavit. The affidavit further explains that Imholte posted a video on May 22nd where he speaks about defendant and insinuated controlled substance use by defendant. However, Deputy Pomplin also included information that Imholte admitted to recent controlled substance use, which is essential information for the reviewing judge to determine veracity. So basically, Aaron snitching on himself makes him a little more credible. Because he can accuse other people of doing coke, and that can sound like sour grapes.
Right.
But if he goes, oh, yeah, and I was doing it too, it's like, well, why would the fucking guy lie
Yeah.
about something that makes him look shitty?
Right.
You know? The case background provides sufficient information to provide context of the relationship between defendant and Imholte, veracity of Imholte's statements, and provides accurate information about Imholte's video. The information provided by Deputy Pomplin about defendant and Imholte does not amount to a misrepresentation. It accurately describes their relationship and includes information necessary to determine veracity of any statements. Importantly, the information within Imholte's video is not the sole basis. The search warrant and, where'd it go? Not the sole basis. Is this number 10? Okay. The search warrant and certain of defendant's drug use were corroborated by Deputy Pomplin's own observation of defendant's video with powder on his nose consistent with illegal controlled substance and behavior consistent with being under the influence. So now we get to Nick's so the judge has now smacked down the first two.
Yeah.
He's like, the Health and Human Services shit doesn't matter.
Yep.
We're talking about a search warrant. Aaron making you cry is not material to this search warrant. So now we get to the last part. The order. The defendant's motion to schedule an evidentiary hearing pursuant to a Frank's challenge is denied. The defendant's motion to suppress the firearms ammunition is denied. All other omnibus issues not argued with particularity or otherwise specifically identified to the court as a contested issue at the omnibus hearing, whether included in the written notice or not, are denied, having been waived by the defendant. So, no omnibus in 2. This is it. Shot at and missed, shit at and hit. This is game, set, and match. The chance to get this search warrant thrown out. And now the shitty thing about it is, now that you have the judge in this thing saying not only is the warrant good, but the judge even says in his opinion here, there were drugs in the house.
Yeah.
There was evidence of drug use in the house. So now you're super fucked because you made this challenge. So now even the judge goes, yep, sure were drugs found in the house. Like it just confirmed everything. So not only is the search warrant going to hold, but what was found in it is now stronger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
So
hit the like button.
And be like, hey, yeah.
Okay, fuck you, Doom.
Goodbye. I'll do it like that show. Goodbye.
Shut up, Doom. Doom, cool it. For the love of God. Come on.
Doom, you're gone again. That's it. I'm so sick of you anyway.